This story will bring in New York Congresswoman Claudia Tenney joining us live now. Congresswoman, thank you so much for coming on. We'll take just a little bit of your time. I want to talk about President Biden's speech yesterday. I wish I had some sound to play for you to react to, but one of the things that he said was this unfolded more quickly than anticipated, but that's about as far as he went. It did go to the blame game of Trump put this in place and he had a choice to carry it out or to not carry it out. What were your overall thoughts on how he handled it? Also keeping in mind that yesterday really wasn't about the withdrawal of troops or to keep them there. It was about how the withdrawal was handled. What were your thoughts on the president's speech from yesterday?
It was very disappointing. Number one, it was late. Where was he all weekend long while this was unfolding and problems were happening? We had a very inadequate phone call with the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and the Secretary of State. On Sunday, a 35-minute phone call with members of Congress who almost none of us got to. I think 2 Republicans and 2 Democrats got to answer questions, and it was immediately shut down. No more answers in the queue. Okay, we'll shut it down. Which I know numerous members who are waiting to ask questions. So we, as the board of directors in Congress, were not given the opportunity to ask questions directly of the people that serve the American people, and we represent them. Biden came out, a 16-minute speech or so. He also took no questions, blamed President Trump, said I inherited this mess. Well, guess what? President Trump inherited a mess from Obama Biden. They didn't complain. They didn't blame. They fixed things. They created a dynamic economy. They restored integrity across the nation, across the world for the United States. They took bold action. President Biden has no excuse to blame President Trump. You don't come out and do this terrible withdrawal in the way that it was done. Don't answer questions. And I'll add, the straw man was posed by President Biden. We all knew we had to get out of Afghanistan. That's not the question. The question is how and when. And the way that President Biden did it was a disaster. And we're seeing that unfold before our TV sets. Americans across the world, Americans across the nation and the world. We've left Americans, our allies, as your reporter just indicated, stranded in Afghanistan. Although we're resuming the ability to get out, it was a disaster. And this is not about whether we get out of Afghanistan, it's how. And presenting that as he was the guy who's always been for getting out of Afghanistan is just blatantly false based on his past statements and past actions as a senator and as a vice president.
The Afghan president was seemingly able to get out just fine, which makes you wonder how were American citizens there not able to get out when we were the one coordinating this? There are so many questions. We talk about the visualizations that came out of folks hanging off of those C-17s, taking off, plunging to their death. We've seen this on video. That's how bad they wanted to flee the Taliban, as we've seen this video unfold, because they know what they're facing. We've already heard what is happening in Afghanistan as the Taliban begins to take over, knocking on doors, forcing women to cook for them. If they don't, they die. They're beaten to death, grenades thrown in their homes. This all reported from CNN. It is horrifying, to say the very least. Despite that, they still have a mission to get thousands out from that airfield there in Kabul. That seems to continue to be an issue. There will be a press briefing later today at 1:30 with NSA Jake Sullivan, obviously Jen Psaki returning from vacation. What needs to be said to the American people, and what kind of questions do you expect to be asked of them?
Well, I think we need assurances that that is actually going to happen, that we're going to meet our promises. But don't make this is what is incredible to me, is that the Chinese Communist Party has been negotiating with the Taliban for months. What has the United States been doing? What has President Biden been doing other than blaming President Trump, reversing every policy that President Trump put in place, and yet sitting there, seemingly paralyzed with the inability to make a decision, blaming everything on President Trump? Well, you certainly didn't have a problem reversing President Trump's successful border policies or his policies on the economy, which is now in free fall with inflation and regressive policies he's planning with high taxes, high spending, worse than the New Deal. And I'm talking about Roosevelt's New Deal, not AOC's Green New Deal, which is also part of the spending plan. Where is the plan here to do something that will save Americans, We were given, oh, call the State Department and we'll help you with your Afghan refugees and families who are interpreters. Well, I already have Afghan families who I've been working on with the State Department with no response from them and no seemingly interest in responding to that. We still have Americans there. We have the Taliban. We have terrorist organizations operating in Afghanistan. And there just doesn't seem to be a real urgency by the Biden administration. I mean, look at how many days it took him to come out and even address the nation. I just don't see a plan going forward. I've been working with my colleagues, particularly on the Foreign Affairs Committee, on a strategy that we can put together to present to this administration to give them guidance so that we can help the American people and look forward and restore the credibility of America across the world.
Let me give you this final question to sum this up about the Taliban as we inch closer to that 20-year mark of 9/11, a few days away, a few weeks away, if you will. Associated Press, Congresswoman, reports this: guns, ammunition, vehicles, helicopters the Taliban have. They have U.S. supplied firepower as they stand to benefit from the $83 billion American investment in Afghan forces. This from the Associated Press. They have guns, ammunition, vehicles, and helicopters from the United States of America, according to the Associated Press. How dangerous is the Taliban at this point? It seems as if they walked right in and have been able to take over and get all of these aircrafts and weapons and everything they would need to continue to grow and bring in their reign of terror. We've seen the repercussions of this 20 years ago. Do you suspect we would ever see that again?
Yes, and why would we spend over $700 million on an embassy that's probably state of the art? We evacuated it, and now the president said, "Oh, we've successfully evacuated the embassy." And our diplomatic corps is going to be at the airport while we watch teams of people running across the tarmac, hanging off American C-17s. This is a disastrous policy. And now we've left billions of dollars in high-tech American equipment paid for by the taxpayers in the hands of a murderous regime now, and potentially going to be in the hands of Al-Qaeda. The Chinese are moving in. The Russians are moving in. They look at these things strategically, and the Americans going forward, our foreign policy needs to be strategic. We need to balance our interests and look at things not from a woke perspective as we're looking at now, but as what is good for the American people across the world. How do we protect our nation, secure our borders, secure this country? We have to be realistic. We have to get out of this woke culture and really look at serious adults in the room who are going to defend America, not leave it recklessly behind to groups like the Taliban and Al-Qaeda.
Congresswoman Claudia Tenney of New York, it's good to see you, and thank you for your input. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.